top 3 hitters in the American League in David Justice, who crushed the Blue Jays back at the Jake, and Julio Franco on a 14-game hitting streak right now.
As good as Roger Clemens has been this season, he's a perfect 6-0, and look at his ERA, just a couple of ticks over 2. Roger Clemens has had a tough time with the Indians lately. He's lost 4 straight decisions to them, and he hasn't beaten them since 1992. Great control. 11 walks in 52 2/3 innings. You always think about Clemens and strikeouts and being a power pitcher, but his control has been very impressive.
Kind of putting Cito Gaston's mind at ease a little bit with Guzman, Person, Hansen all sidelined right now. Who knows how long for Guzman? He's not on the DL, but he's been scratched for Sunday. You got to think that the hitting's got to get going soon, because eventually the health and the good run of the pitching just might run out.
Yeah, I think so. And defensively, they've been pretty good too, and that helps out the pitching. They're first in the league, 17 errors overall. Jacob Brumfield is the center fielder tonight, and this came about when Joe Carter couldn't answer the bell. He's got back spasms, so Otis Nixon moves to the DH spot. Brumfield moves into center. He's surrounded by Green and Merced. Sprague and Gonzalez on the left side. Garcia, Delgado on the right side. And Santiago is catching Roger Clemens. And each time these two team up, there are fewer and fewer trips to the mound. It has been a learning process for Santiago because Clemens is so demanding. He has signs for location. He has signs for pitch.
Well at all since coming off the disabled list. They could use his defense. They could use his speed, but as Expo and Brave fans well know, he's also got some pop when things are going well.
Well, Marquise had a hamstring problem, and that robbed him of a real solid foundation from which to hit. Boy, there's a good fastball upstairs. You relate hamstring problems to running, and Grissom just hasn't been 100%, so he could push off that back leg. That was the right leg that caused him to go on a DL.
1 ball, 1 strike. Following Grissom, it'll be Tony Fernandez and Jim Thome. Why do you think baseball players suffer hamstring injuries? You never really hear hockey players, football players, basketball players nearly as much.
Because baseball players don't warm up and run backward like basketball players, football players, and hockey skaters. Even hockey players go backwards on their skates. And when you do that, you have a tendency to stretch out your hamstrings. Everything baseball players do is forward. Even when Grissom is playing in the outfield, he will turn and run in a forward direction. But football players, particularly defensive players, back up a lot, and there's just not that extra stretching with that movement.
2-2 the count, and a little bit low. Indians finishing up a road trip, and the Blue Jays with a quick homestand. They're off to Yankee Stadium next week.
Got it.
It would have been ball 4 anyways, but it caught Grissom in the left arm.
Well, everybody is aware of how well Roger Clemens is throwing right now, so with Grissom on first, you may think that he's going to think about running. That ball was well inside. Looked like it caught him underneath his arm. Another look at this fastball. This is the same problem he had when he faced the Twins. It's that 2-seam fastball. He hit Knobloch on the hand, and eventually Knobloch had to leave that game. But that 2-seam fastball is running up and in to the right-handed batters, and he doesn't have an awful lot of moving, sinking action on it.
Here's Tony Fernandez, who had a big night against the Blue Jays a bit over a week ago. He had a single, double, and a home run in one of the games against Toronto. We spoke to him after the game, interviewed him on the air, and he seems to be happy. He says he's got lots of aches and pains, but he's having fun. He doesn't seem to mind second base, and boy, has he filled a void for the Indians. 0-1 the count on Fernandez. Delgado holds on to Grissom, who is not going, and Fernandez takes it 1-1. Think back to the difference when he was with Cincinnati playing third, how unhappy he was there, even though obviously Barry Larkin was the incumbent in short. High from Clemens, 2-1. And even this going 3-2 and then hitting the leadoff guy, 2-1 here on Fernandez. Clemens has rarely done this year.
Quite a few at bats for Tony against Clemens.
And quite a few guys in this Cleveland lineup tonight who have hit Clemens extremely well over the course of their career. Looked like Grissom might have been leaning.
That's a good count right here for Grissom to run. 2 balls and a strike. Clemens expects to be around the plate. Watch Grissom's lead. He has shortened up about 6 inches. Oh, he was going. He was leaning right there. Good base runners, you can tell when they shorten up a little bit, they're not in a one-way mode. He had thoughts of second on Clemens' first move, but he dives back ahead of the tag.
Taking some time getting started here. Still nobody out. Grissom at first. 2-1 on Fernandez. And Clemens falls behind 3 balls and a strike. And remember, it's the likes of Thome and Matt Williams and David Justice who are next.
Thome homered on Wednesday night against the Rangers.
That familiar stance from Fernandez. Count in his favor. Grissom not going, and Thome lifts one in the air to left. He will not be pleased at this. Green makes the catch, 1 down, and a very big out for Roger Clemens, especially on a 3-1 pitch.
Now that's the thing Clemens can do. Even though he falls behind and gets himself into a fastball count, he's got such good control he can make a pitch and get out of a tough situation.
So 1 on 1 out, but here comes the real danger. Jim Thome. And with the departure of Lofton, Baerga, Bell, Eddie Murray, this guy, one of the best hitters around, hitting in the 3 spot of the best hitting lineup, but also you sense developing into a leader at some point. They've got some new players in Grissom and Justice and Williams, but of the holdovers, this guy might be the best one around.
Clemens fighting himself a little bit as he's not been able to get that ball on the corners just yet. Jim Thome right on top of the plate. That back foot is about 6 inches from the inside corner. His bat handle is right over the heart of the plate. He has got very good plate coverage because of his stance, and he's quick enough to get to Clemens's fastball.
How many guys can put up numbers like that against anybody, much less Roger Clemens? And once again, Clemens behind. It's a 2-0 count. Grissom still at first. Line to second and over the head of Garcia into right field. Grissom moves up a base as we head back to the studio with Vic. The Rangers thing?
No, not at all. No, I just don't want to be a front runner, you know.
Why change now? First and second for the Indians, 1 out, into more trouble in Matt Williams. The ex-Giant, big power hitter, good glove. Grissom at second, Thome at first. Check swing up the first base line, foul. Williams is frustrated. He broke the bat, and all he was really trying to do was get out of the way of that.
Now, we talked to Matt Williams in Cleveland about his approach trying to learn these American League pitchers, and he said, you know what, I can get all the scouting reports I want, but until I step in the box and get a feel for the velocity and the movement. And basically that's all he was trying to do right there, was take a pitch and get a good look at Clemens. He's been productive, even though he has not been hot yet.
Started the season very slowly and has gotten better. Clemens has been up around 93 miles an hour with his fastball. And he will probably peak at about 95, 96 on an average night.
Well, the thing about Clemens, though, he'll peak in the first at 95, and he'll still have 95 in the ninth. His conditioning allows him to maintain good velocity all the way through a ball game. We have talked about this often. Roger Clemens is a big man.
In a jam right here, first and second, 1 out, just the top of the first, and the Indians threatening with Matt Williams at the plate. 1-2.
Hey, Williams can get all the scouting reports he wants that'll tell him Clemens has got a real good fastball. He'll sink the fastball, got a slider, and then that split finger pitch. But until you see a particular pitcher and their stuff, you don't really know how big the slider is, how much does the splitter break, and how fast is his fastball.
What did he call himself? The information guy?
Yeah, he said he's an information guy. He's like a sponge. But he's got to step in the box and see a few pitches.
The 1-2. Close, but no. Brian Onora manning the plate tonight. 2-2. This is one of the few young umpires in the American League. We've seen him a couple of times the last couple of years as kind of a swing guy. But I remember hearing good things about him from the players after games he did.
Yeah, he makes you believe he's in charge of the game, and that's good.
Here's the 2-2. Into center field, a base hit. Trouble. Cut off by Merced. One run is in. Tomey into third. Out at second is Matt Williams. But still give him an RBI single to score Grissom, and the Indians lead 1-0.
Matt Williams really hits a pretty good pitch. It's down and in. It's a splitter. Look at the movement. And he stays on it and kind of serves it into center field. Merced, with that strong arm, throws a strike to second base to Gonzalez, who tags out Williams. But he picks up the RBI. And Williams is frustrated by getting thrown out here. Boy, he didn't touch him at all. Umpire was right on top of the play. That's Ted Henry, but Merced gets credit for throwing out Matt Williams.
Williams gets RBI number 32, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead off Clemens and the Blue Jays. 2 outs, and Tomey's down in third for David Justice, who has embraced American League pitching, to say the least. He hit a 3-run home run against the Blue Jays in each game of the 2-game series back at Jacobs Field. Look at the numbers. In the top 5 in the league in every significant category.
Benny Santiago should have a very good book on these National Leaguers, Justice, Williams, and Grissom. But so far, they're not doing very much with that book.
Up and in. Hit one of the homers off Timlin, hit the other one off Plesac.
And both of those home runs were basically in the same area. Out over the plate, middle of his thigh. Kind of high and out over.
Tomey down at third. On the outside corner, says Brian Onora. 2-2. Clemens trying to escape with just 1 run scoring. He's already hit a batter. The Indians with a couple of hits. Merced throwing out Williams' help. Otherwise, there's just 1 out, and a fly ball would bring somebody in. Back to the mound. Clemens will finish it off himself. The Indians get 1 on the Matt Williams base hit. The Blue Jays will come up to face Oral Hershiser when we return to the Skydome after this. For new longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads, Joe Carter out with back spasms. Jacob Brumfield in center field. Otis Nixon moves to DH, and Sprague and Delgado move up a spot in the lineup.
Right-hander Oral Hershiser makes his 9th start of the season. He's 3-1, but as Dan pointed out earlier, look at his ERA. Over 5.5 runs a ball game, and look at the home runs. 11 home runs so far, and that's very much against the grain. He has always been tough to get airborne because of that great sinking fastball.
As always, Otis Nixon will lead it off for the Blue Jays, but he moves to the DH spot tonight, hitting .243, 9 RBIs. Ex-Indian, but he's also an ex-Yankee, ex-Brave, ex-Ranger, ex-Expo, ex-Red Sox. I think that's everybody. Do you have many guys playing for 5 or 6 teams when you were?
No, not at all. When I first started in the big leagues, you didn't have guys moving around, and you barely knew anybody on the other team to say hi.
That has changed. One hopper out to short. Tough to get him by Vizquel. 1 down. Back to the studio. Vic's got another hockey update.
He's my guy.
Garth Snow in net for the Flyers in a 2-0 lead. Vic will keep you posted on the hockey and the baseball. Alex Gonzalez, the number 2 hitter, 1 in the Blue Jay first. Indians leading 1-0. He has struggled against Oral Hershiser over his couple of seasons in the American League. Well, it's hard to think about Hershiser without thinking about 88, and there's a lot more to this guy career-wise than 88. He had a 19-3 season in 85, but in 1988 had one of the best individual seasons any pitcher has ever had. Cy Young, NLCS MVP, World Series MVP, 59 consecutive scoreless innings to set a new record, breaking Don Drysdale. Gonzalez pops one up in foul ground, and it might be playable for Williams. It took a long time coming down, 2 out.
Well, the Indians defensively, they don't have Kenny Lofton in center, but it's still a very first-class defense. Justice Grissom and Ramirez in the outfield. Manny Ramirez just returned. He had that pulled oblique muscle. Williams and Vizquel on the left side. Fernandez and Thome on the right side. Jim Thome knows what it's all about to play on the infield. He has just moved across the field to first base. He said he thinks that has given him a lot of insight as far as how to play, how to position himself.
2 down for Orlando Merced, who sends one down the left field line, and it's fair. Merced has himself a 2-out ground rule double.
Take a look at this pitch. It's up a bit. That's that sinking fastball that didn't get down around the knees, and it's just about a foot inside the foul line. Want to hop into the crowd.
Number 12 for Merced. Sure looked like that one had enough English to spin foul, but it stayed fair for him. Merced's hit Hershiser very well. Now he's got to jump back to second. Tony Fernandez coming in behind him. Merced's now 7 for 16 against Hershiser. 2 outs for Ed Sprague. Hitting in the cleanup spot because of the absence of Joe Carter out with back spasms. Sprague knows a thing or two about doubles this year, leading the majors with 19. But as has been the problem for most Blue Jays, when there have been runners on, the hitting dries up. No key base hits, very low averages with runners in scoring position.
Well, they're not quite sure what they're going to do right here, so Sandy Alomar called time, and they're going to talk things over. They got Merced at second base, and Hershiser wants to make sure he knows the correct set of signs they're using here tonight.
Hershiser has seen the Jays now. This is the 6th time since he came over to the American League. After arm surgery, after all the heroics with the LA Dodgers. Left it up a little bit, and Sprague drives it to center. Grissom, though, is there, and the Blue Jays are retired, leaving the Merced double aboard. Through 1 inning at Skydome, Hershiser and the Indians lead Clemens and the Blue Jays 1-0.
Well, you see all of these pitches. He will use both fastballs. He'll throw the occasional curveball, and once in a while he'll throw a changeup, but a lot of sliders, a lot of splits. Last time his two-seamer was flat. By that I mean it just kind of ran along the plane of the bat and didn't get much tilt to it. But look at this last line. Clemens is a closer. By that I mean when he gets hitters with 2 strikes, you can just about forget it. Hitters are 8 for 92 against Clemens when he gets to 2 strikes. He finishes off at bats.
Fell behind a lot in the first inning, and the Indians picked up a run on a couple of base hits to lead 1-0. Manny Ramirez, the right fielder, is going to lead off the second. Last time the Blue Jays saw Ramirez, he was coming out of the game after a big swing on a strikeout pitch from Mike Timlin. He strained a muscle in his left side, missed a couple of games, came back in, came back out again, but is in the lineup tonight against Clemens. Most guys you'd think would want to stay out of the lineup if they're iffy against Clemens, but for Ramirez, well, you see these numbers. Get in the lineup if you can. And don't think that both guys don't know. They may not know the exact numbers, but they can both tell you about the home runs. Goes the other way and grounds one down to Delgado. One down. Back to the studio again with Vic.
Yeah, they've gotten hot.
The Cincinnati Reds and manager Ray Knight are having a tough time, and we may not be saying in manager Ray Knight much longer. Little chopper. Franco. Sprague. Got him. Close play, but 2 down.
Now that Sprague came across the front of the shortstop Alex Gonzalez, and Sprague made the right play right there, because if Gonzalez has to wait and take it on the next bounce, Franco may have beaten it out.
A couple of quick ground ball outs for Clemens here in the second. But even as he moves to the bottom of the order, it doesn't get a whole lot easier. Here's Sandy Alomar with a big April. He slowed down a little bit lately, but at one point in April, homered in 5 consecutive games. And as you can see, how much can he have slowed down? He's still hitting .333. But he chased one up and out of the strike zone there. So far in May, Alomar hitting .212.
Boy, he got off to a red-hot start. Every highlight you would see that included the Indians, it was Alomar in the middle of every rally.
Clemens jumps out in front 0-2, and here's where that 087 figure comes into play. Hitters against him this year 8 for 92 when they get to this count. Outside a 1-2.
And so many pitchers don't know where to go. They can get to 0-2 all right, but they don't know where to go to finish off the at bat. Clemens, when he gets you down, he kind of puts his foot on your throat and says, okay, this at bat is over.
In talking to various scouts who you and I bump into at ballparks around the major leagues, they all want to ask about Clemens. They see anybody who sees strong. What's with Clemens? And what I hear from them more than anything is, and his pitch counts have been lower, and he's putting the ball where he wants to, and like you say, finishing off at bats pretty quickly. Haven't been a whole lot of 145 pitch games for him, which there were with the Boston Red Sox the last couple of years.
Well, you know what? I think when you look back to the first half of last season with the Red Sox, Clemens was throwing the ball pretty well, but their defense was so bad. I think he felt he had to be perfect. He couldn't allow the ball to be put in play. This year, this Blue Jays defense has been pretty good, particularly on the infield, so he's been anxious to have the ball put into play.
Fly ball down the right field line. Here comes Merced over near the seats, and he can't get there in time. It was a couple of rows back.
Well, here's one of those few trips again. After throwing 3 pitches to Alomar after he got the 0-2, Santiago wants to come out and discuss things with Roger. You've noticed Clemens on game day, and we've talked about this before, how locked in he is.
Get out of his way, because he will not see you or feel you on the way through you. 2-2. Did he go? Did not on the appeal. Every Blue Jay on the field was 3 steps toward the dugout.
Well, he took a pretty good hack at that pitch. It was a slider. Watch his bat. Yeah, he went after that one. When you see all of the infielders head toward the dugout, that's a pretty good indication. Jim McKean's the only guy that counts, though.
And it's now full. Inside and ball 4. Well, remember the number we showed you about the 0-2 counts. Clemens lost them.
Shortstop number 13.
He has walked 1 in this game, and then he hit 1 with a 3-2 pitch. So in effect, he's given guys 2 bases, and that's as many as he gave away the last 3 starts by.
That's a pretty good strikeout to walk ratio, isn't it?
17-1. Well, you know what's funny? Last year, and Clemens certainly didn't pitch as well last year as he has so far this year, but he walked a lot of guys last year. He walked 106 guys in 242 innings, so about 4 per start. This year he's down about 2 per start.
Well, I just think he got very tentative and very gun shy. That defense they put out there on the field early on was pretty bad. Remember, they had Kevin Mitchell out in left, and they had, or in right, and then they had Canseco in left, and they were having infielders. Cordero was playing.
You could
second.
have Willie Mays in center, and it wouldn't matter with those guys on the corners.
But it was a rough start, and I think the Red Sox team as a whole really had trouble defensively.
Well, nobody was playing their proper position.
Well, Kevin Mitchell eventually got hurt out there, pulled a hamstring, and then they had to do a little more filling in and patchwork.
I'm not sure eventually would be the right word. I think it was his second game out there when he got hurt. Remember, he tore. It was a wet field in April, and he came in to catch a fly ball, and that was it. Now he's with the Indians. 1-2, the count on Omar Vizquel. That's out of play. A lot of things beyond a starter's control. Kevin Brown down in Florida can talk about run support, the ability of a bullpen to finish, the defense, a manager's tendencies. Clemens already up at 40 pitches right now with 2 outs in the second. Two and two. A lot of deep counts in the early going. It's 1-0 Tribe, top of the second. 2 down, and the runner at first is Alomar, who walked. Pulled into right field, a solid single for Vizquel. Alomar up to second, and a 2-out rally here for the Indians.
Center fielder, number 17, Marquis.
Santiago has set the target inside. You can see the movement on that ball, took it to the outside, and Vizquel lines it to Merced on one hop. You know, Clemens sets such a high standard for himself that when he's off a bit with his location, you have a tendency to say, boy, you know, he's not very good tonight. But you're comparing him to himself.
He's struggling with it some so far tonight. Once through the order, 5 of the 9 have reached base. Remember the big out on the bases when Merced threw out Matt Williams. Top of the order again for Marquis Grissom, who looks at a strike on the outside corner. He was hit on a full count pitch back in the first, and then came around to score 3 batters later on Matt Williams' base hit. Inside.
That's the action Roger wants on that 2-seamer inside. He wants to sink it down. This ball has a little more tilt to it, and you see the movement, how it takes it down and into the right-handed batter. That'll get him some ground balls.
Looks like it's a pretty warm night down at field level. He's worked up a pretty good sweat already. A jam shot. Garcia on to Gonzalez, and Clemens gets out of it as the Indians leave 2 on base. He's had to work hard, but he trails only 1-0 through an inning and a half.
And he feels great, but because of that muscle, he was throwing harder, and he got away from pitching. He said, I forgot that I have to still pitch and make my pitches. So now he is trying to throw a little bit slower changeup to give him a bigger window between his sinker and his changeup.
Here's Carlos Delgado to lead off the second for Toronto. He'll be followed by Jacob Brumfield and then Benito Santiago. And believe it or not, that 263 average you see is the highest for any Blue Jay. You've got some teams hitting close to 300 as a team, and 263 is the best individual average the Blue Jays can send out there. And that'll increase a little bit, and that'll get to the wall. Extra bases for Delgado. A leadoff double.
The center fielder, number 5, Jacob Brumfield.
Carlos is well suited to face Oral Hershiser because he's a low ball hitter, and Hershiser throws that low sinker. That may have been a ball low, but he hooks it all the way to the wall in right field. By the time Ramirez can get it back in, Carlos has a leadoff double. That's just his 5th double of the year.
Here's Brumfield getting a chance to start against a right-hander. This is rare for him, and he was a late addition to the lineup when Joe Carter came down with back spasms. Brumfield moved into the lineup. Carter gone. Nixon from center to DH, where Carter was originally. Brumfield itching to do a little more of this. Talks about some regular playing time he got in Cincinnati, some regular playing time he got in Pittsburgh, and maintains, and this makes perfect sense, that the best he's ever played is when he's played on consecutive days or for a run of a week or two. You think back to last year when Otis Nixon was out for a couple of weeks. Brumfield played very well.
Well, he scored from second base on a ground out to the second baseman. Then he threw out a runner at the plate. Well, Hershiser in his National League days was the master at hitting hitters off the outside part of the plate. And run that ball up under your chin and push you back, and then make a pitch to the outside.
Alomar keeps it in front of him. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. How would you rate this guy defensively? You never really hear much about his defense.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's very good. Defensively, he's very good. He's been slowed somewhat by a series of knee problems. He had a hip injury that has slowed him down a bit, but he's very big, and for a big guy, he gets down into a pretty good defensive position. He moves around and can block the ball. He's got a strong arm.
Sure wouldn't pick them as brothers, would you?
Not at all.
The flashy second baseman and the big catcher.
Their personalities are quite a bit different as well.
And this guy came down hard on the other guy after the John Hirschbeck incident last year, as did Sandy Sr. Delgado out at second. 2-2 to Brumfield. Grounded it back to the mound. Hershiser fakes a throw to the bag and then settles for 1 out at first, but not what Brumfield wanted. He gets it by Hershiser, and Delgado can move up a base.
Benito Santiago.
Just about the time where the schedule gets serious in a hurry as the New York Yankees come to town at the end of the month for a couple. The area code 1-888-OK-GO-J. That is a toll-free call just a couple of weeks away. Some big games coming up. Cleveland now, Texas in right before the Yankees. Seattle, Atlanta, Baltimore, Boston, Montreal, all in the month of June at Skydome.
Well, that's why everybody is anxious for the bats to wake up a bit. Tito Gaston said, you know what, we can't shut out those good hitting ball clubs every night. And this is one of those good hitting ball clubs right here. The Yankees are starting to get it together. They've now homered in 11 straight games.
And won 5 in a row. And all those concerns about Mariano Rivera have kind of disappeared. Huh?
Yeah. They're saying, Wetland who? Isn't it funny? He went out there and had a couple of rough games. But Joe Torre kept running him back out there. There's another one of those Hershiser's. Look out! And then he'll drop that slider on the outside corner. Watch how this ball is up and in, and Santiago has to draw his hands in and jumps out of the way. Now that's effective pitching because he didn't hit him, but he made him very aware that he can come inside.
2-1 the count, and a misses high, ball 3. Hershiser has fallen behind. The Blue Jays try to tie it up here in the bottom of the second. They've got Carlos Delgado out at second, 1 out. Santiago saw Hershiser a lot in the National League when Santiago was in his first few years in the majors.
And didn't have a whole lot of fun.
Indians leading 1-0 off Roger Clemens. Santiago takes the walk, and now the Blue Jays have 2 on with just 1 out. There must be some guys when you see them switching leagues through free agency or a trade, you say, good riddance.
No.
Yeah. See you, Oral. See you in an all-star game or something.
Get him out of here.
Here's Sean Green with his first look at Hershiser tonight. First and second, 1 out. Indians with a couple of hits and a Clemens hit batter in the first inning to get their run. Matt Williams, the RBI. And Green looks at a strike. Hershiser 3-1 on the season with an ERA of better than 5.5 coming in. As Green chops one up the third base line. Williams will get him in a close play for the second out. Runners to second and third, and we're off to Vic. Two outs for Carlos Garcia. Right down the pipe for strike one. The Blue Jays, as we told you back in the first, and as you've heard all season long, have had their biggest problems hitting with runners in scoring position. They got a 2-out double from Merced in the first. Couldn't get him in. Now they've got second and third 2 out already tonight. They are 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and they'll need a Garcia base hit here to get on the board.
Well, it's difficult when you get a leadoff double not to take advantage of it.
Those numbers aren't good. They're actually better than his overall numbers, though. But as a team, the Blue Jays down around 215 with runners in scoring position, and under 240 overall, worst in the league. Ground ball to short. Vizquel. And the Jays will leave 2 more. They have stranded 3 through 2 innings, all of them in scoring position. Hershiser wriggles off the hook again and continues to lead 1-0.
Urbina had great stuff the first that night.
Here's Tony Fernandez to lead off the Cleveland third. Jim Thome, Matt Williams behind him, Clemens, and the Blue Jays trailing 1-0. As you know, Clemens has yet to lose this year. His last loss was in his last start of last season. The only Blue Jay pitchers with better winning streaks to start a season, Dennis Lamp, who went all of 85 with an 11-0 mark, and Tom Filer, who had a 7-0 start. You caught a couple of those?
I caught the first game.
Yeah.
That's the only one. That's when I broke my leg.
Ah.
That was my last game.
In that game?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was his first start with the Blue Jays. Look at
Tony Fernandez leading off the inning. He had a fly ball to left his first time up. And Clemens behind 3-0. This has been a pattern for him tonight. He has not had the control tonight, but he's had the rest of this season. And that's going to be it for Honora, it looks like.
He can't make. He is ill. He's not feeling well, and that's going to be it. Well, he tried to hang in there as long as he could, but
Walk on down to first unless Clemens can find the strike zone, which he does at the knees. And Ted Hendry's first pitch behind the plate is a strike.
be interesting to watch the difference in these strike zones now as Brown Honora is out, just to see if there is a significant difference.
That'll drift out of play, and it's now a full count on Fernandez. It was a 12-minute delay. Clemens had to wait out, and of course by the time Hershiser gets back out there, 20-25 minutes between innings for him.
I think both of these guys have been around long enough to know these things happen, and they can get themselves back into that game mode quickly. Younger guy might think about it more than necessary.
Count now full on Tony Fernandez. And he went on the appeal down to third. And Hirschbeck will ring up Fernandez. Roger Clemens with his first strikeout of the night.
Boy, Roger really finishes off this fastball. He just blows it right by Tony Fernandez, and there's no question about that. Fernandez's bat went all the way around and got on the other side of the head. How do you call that anything but a swing?
Hendry went on the appeal, though, didn't call it himself. One down. And here's Jim Thome. Solid single his first time up. He has upped his average to .308. This is not just a stand at the plate and slug him out of the ballpark kind of guy. Good average, among the league leaders in walks and on base percentage as well, all while adjusting to a new position over at first. Lines one to left, and Green misplays it. Thome on his way to second, and from the moment the ball left the bat, Shawn Green was in trouble on that one.
That ball just ate him up. Thome hit the ball so hard, Shawn came in, and the ball took off. Thome crushed that ball. It was right at Green. He took a couple of steps in and then sizes up the situation and still had a chance to make a play. You can see how he just kind of glides back on it, goes off his glove, and he'll be charged with an error. Tomey crushed that ball, but once Green made a couple of steps in, that ball ate him up.
A two-base error charged to Green. Tomey at second, one out, and here's Matt Williams. RBI single for Williams back in the first, then thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Clemens will miss away for ball one. The Blue Jays come in as the best defensive team, at least statistically, in the American League, although there are those, and Cito Gaston is among them, who thinks those numbers are a little bit flattering for the Blue Jays.
He has said over and over that he feels that Shawn Green's play is somewhat deceiving in the outfield. I tell you what, Roger Clemens has come back after that long delay, and he's throwing harder. You see that he patted his chest right there to tell Santiago that last pitch was his fault because he threw it to the wrong spot. But he is throwing harder now than he was when he left.
Up to 95 miles an hour on that last pitch, but still he can't find the strike zone. He's fallen behind a hitter after hitter, really for the first time this season. Clemens came into this game 11 walks in 7 starts. And he got lucky there. Look how upset Matt Williams is. He swung at a 2-0 pitch that bounced in the dirt.
Now that's the aspect we talked about in his first at bat. That was the splitter, and he is shaking his head. This is part of the learning process. He's so anxious to get out there because Clemens is throwing 95 miles an hour, and he committed before he identified the pitch.
Still good count for him, though, at 2-1. Jams him, and a little pop-up will find the seats over on the right side. Last time up, Matt Williams drove in the only run of this game to this point in the first inning off Roger Clemens. Little inside-out swing here.
Now that's a splitter that moved down and in, and he put a good swing on it. He drives in the run, but then Orlando Merced throws a one-hop strike to Gonzalez, and Williams is called out at second.
RBI number 32 for Williams. For Merced, the second outfield assist he's picked up this year. Might have been a big play the way the last couple of innings have worked out. 2-2 the count. Look back at Tomey. Got him low and out of the strike zone again. 2 down.
This looks like that splitter that acts as a changeup. Clemens gets a big strike out of Williams with a runner at second base.
87-mile-an-hour splitter. That's a pretty hard splitter.
Yeah, it's hard, and it also makes you think it's a fastball when he lets it go.
2 down. Tomey still out at second, and dangerous David Justice is the hitter. Justice with a ground ball back to the mound to end the first. Up here trying to drive in Tomey in the third. As Clemens misses inside. Should the Indians do any damage, of course, the runs would now be unearned because Clemens should already be out of this inning.
Well, Rogers got a base open now. Shawn Green's error enabled Tomey to reach second. But with Justice at the plate, he's got first base open, and right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez on deck.
Wow.
You see, he never gave in. He came with a splitter, 2-0, and Justice was trying to guess with Clemens, expecting to get a fastball.
If you've never faced Roger Clemens, but obviously you've watched him for years like Matt Williams and David Justice have, do you go up there thinking fastball until you face that splitter?
Yes. That's what everybody has in their mind. Power pitcher, fastball. So you want to get the head out, and you're out in front a lot.
Time called by Justice. Clemens a strike away from striking out the side and coming out of it, but Justice is as hot as they come in the American League right now, hitting .362 with power. He's already hit a couple of home runs off Blue Jay pitching this year. A look back at Tomey, and that one is low to even up the count.
See, now Clemens has a couple of pitches to work with now. 2-2. He doesn't necessarily have to throw a strike. Justice is thinking about driving in that runner from second. And he's going to be anxious to put this ball in play. Now he can throw the splitter with the full count. Have Justice thinking about, well, maybe he's going to go away with a fastball. Clemens reminding himself to keep that front shoulder tucked to not fly open.
The 3-2 got him. Roger Clemens strikes out the side. And the error by Sean Green does not cost Clemens anything more than a few extra pitches. Still 1-0 Cleveland. Otis Nixon will lead it off. The DH tonight for the Blue Jays. He grounded out to short his first time up.
Otis is the DH because Joe Carter, who was originally the DH in this lineup, was scratched right before game time with back spasms.
And a base hit up the middle for Nixon. Blue Jays' third hit of the night and speed aboard with nobody out.
Well, already twice in this game the Blue Jays have had the leadoff runner on board but have been able to push anything across.
Alex Gonzalez will come up. And what will the Blue Jays do here? They've had a lot of options in these situations. Straight steal, hit and run, sacrifice. And when you're having trouble scoring runs, as the Blue Jays are, you resort to this type of baseball, although Gonzalez cannot get it down. He is the co-leader in the American League along with Tom Goodwin with 6 sacrifices.
Well, hitting in the number 2 spot, you've got to be able to execute a lot of different plays, and now they have shown bunt on the first pitch. Cedar Gaston's got the option of putting the hit and run on, starting the runner at first base, maybe creating a hole on the infield. Take a look at the infield defense. Matt Williams, even with the bag at third, he is expecting a bunt. Hershiser does that, hopeful of getting Alex to tip his hand.
Tomey holds on Nixon. Gonzalez squares again, pulls the bat back, and takes it 1-1.
Hershiser is such a good fielder, it makes it very difficult to sacrifice. With Tomey getting comfortable at first base and being a right-handed thrower, he becomes the target. That's where you want to bunt the ball. Bunt it down the first base line and get it by Hershiser. Make Tomey come in and come after it.
Nixon not going, and swinging away is Gonzalez. 1-2.
See, even though you don't get the bunt sign, you've got to get a good pitch to hit. He swung at that sinker ball out of the strike zone.
He had been doing a much better job of taking the pitches he should and bunting the strikes, getting them down. Now to 1-2. We've also seen him bunt on 2 strikes occasionally this year, although once it was with a missed sign. Ground ball back to short. Vizquel, there's one. Tough play. Got him. What a double play by Omar Vizquel.
The reigning 4-time Gold Glover, and take a look at the pitcher on this play. Hershiser's a good fielder. Right there, he goes at it and then says, nope, Omar's got that one. Vizquel barehands it, steps on the bag, and throws in one motion. And what a great double play. Barehand, step, and throw all in one motion to get Gonzalez.
Pretty good evidence there of why Vizquel's won the last 4 Gold Gloves among American League shortstops. Two down for Merced.
So you get that look from Hershiser. You never know. I wonder if he did that. Nah, he wouldn't have done that intentionally. But remember, Merced doubled his first time up, trying to come inside. This ball is behind him. He bounced. That was a slider. He just hung on to too long. But you never really know.
Like throwing at the mascot just to scare the hitter, that kind of thing.
Well, I've always talked about making a hitter move his feet. It takes him a pitch or two to get reoriented back in the batter's box.
Might take Hershiser a pitch or two to get reoriented back in the strike zone. Who do we see lose the handle on one and it flew to the backstop? Where was that? Kansas City?
Ed Sprague was hitting.
Really unnerved him, whoever it was. He wasn't close the rest of that at bat.
It was Omar Oliveras.
That's right.
He threw it up against the backstop.
And Hershiser couldn't find the strike zone. He thought he might have on that last pitch, but he issues his second walk of the night.
Third baseman number 33.
So the Blue Jays will send up Ed Sprague with 2 outs and a runner at first, trying to break through against Hershiser. Trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. First of a weekend series between these two teams. Blue Jays actually come in with a better record than the Indians, who are 18-19 in the American League Central.
Now that's the pitch that a lot of hitters will scratch their head and look out to the mound. That's the pitch that looks like a spitter. This is a good sinking fastball. Watch the movement on this pitch. That thing drops about 10 inches.
Sprague pulls one into left field, a base hit, and that double play by Vizquel is even bigger now. Up to second goes Merced.
First baseman number 25.
Well, this pitch didn't sink as much as the first one, and Sprague's able to rip it through the hole at shortstop into left field.
And for the third inning in a row, the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position. Well, they left a guy on at second in the first. They left runners at second and third in the second. And now have 2 on with 2 out for Carlos Delgado, who doubled to right his first time up, raising his average up to 270. Breaking ball misses 1-0.
Delgado hit that double on a low fastball. It may have been a ball out of the strike zone down. Hershiser tried to run that breaking ball in on his hands, but missed up.
Up and in, 2-0. But this is not the kind of guy, just because it's 2-0, to force a fastball in there, is it?
Well, now he'll still throw that sinking fastball, but he can change speeds to kind of get you out in front. See that movement? Started off the plate inside. We mentioned his nickname from the National League. He was called the Bulldog. He won't ever give in to you. He doesn't concede a thing.
38 years of age. 9 years removed from that great year of his, as Delgado grounds one out to second. And the Blue Jays have left 2 more on here in the third. 5 on through 3 innings. Hershiser still leads 1-0. Big difference in the pitches per inning, too.
He's just off ever so slightly. That ball that normally stays on the corner is drifting off the plate, just like that. But like I said earlier, Roger Clemens sets a pretty high standard.
Doesn't take long for expectations to grow. Late on that swing.
That wasn't a very pretty swing, and I think Manny Ramirez maybe got lingering thoughts of that side muscle in his mind. He pulled the muscle swinging at a Mike Timlin slider when these 2 clubs hooked up in Cleveland. And this is just his second start.
Wow. Clemens might have gotten one there. Really tailed down and in. Ramirez wants to think about it. In the hole, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clemens did strike out the side in the third, sandwiched around the Shawn Green error. And a weak grounder out to second. Easy play for Garcia, 1 down.
Hitting number 23, Julio Franco.
In the month of May, these two teams among the best in the American League in ERA. And for the Indians, that's a big turnaround. They were awful in April despite all their hitting, and that's why they're a below 500 team.
They had Jack McDowell down in the pen for a couple of appearances, and then he came back. And now, unfortunately for McDowell and the Indians, he's got some arm problems. Not structurally, basically. His elbow is okay. It's kind of interesting that he's going to have to throw on Monday here. Actually, Sunday or Monday, and then see how the elbow reacts.
Want to know the count to Julio Franco, who is working on a 14-game hitting streak right now. Years keep on going by, but this guy doesn't tail off at all. Still has the big bat and the big looping swing. The stance with the bat wrapped way up around his head, so it's pointing at the pitcher. Still can get it out there in time to slam line drives to right center field. He didn't like that call from Ted Hendry.
Now, Ted Hendry didn't like the look that he got from Franco either. He's very good when he can reach for the ball out over the plate. Left-handers give him trouble because they break the ball down and in, and he has a tendency to swing over the top of that pitch.
Tried to go to right field. 2-2. A little more to all of this than just, oh, he's a righty, he must hit lefties well. He's a lefty, he must hit righties well.
Yeah, it's their strengths at the plate. Franco needs some new lumber.
Tony Castillo is a guy, when he was with the Blue Jays, who always was tougher on right-handers because he would crowd them. Left-handers would hit him like crazy.
Yeah, Tony's best pitch in those situations was the cut fastball that he used very effectively against right-handed hitters. But he didn't have a real nasty breaking ball to throw to the left-handed hitters. Franco, you can see how long that bat is. It's 36 inches long, and that's quite unusual by today's standards. But he'll take that bat and actually hold it in the first two fingers of his bottom hand, and the other two are totally off the bat. So he's almost got another inch and a half on the bat.
That'll be strong. 2-2 the count. One down, nobody on in the Indians' fourth, and time is called. Even without the delay, when umpire Brian Honora had to leave because he was ill, this has been a slow-moving contest. Reaches for it, bloops it down the right field line. Merced trapped it, and Franco stays at first. And there's a 15-game hitting streak for Julio Franco.
There's another one of those pitches that he reaches for. Boy, credit Merced with smothering that ball.
The catcher, number 15.
He had a shot at it all the way, and then as it hits the turf, watch how he smothers it. He recognizes he's not going to catch it, but he turns his glove over and traps it against the turf, and it stays right at his feet to keep Franco at first. Cedar Gaston's right about this guy. He plays a good right field.
One on, one out for Sandy Alomar. Drew a walk his first time up. Indians try to extend their lead. Pops up a high pitch, right side. Delgado, Garcia over. Delgado, if anybody, but it will be nobody.
Carlos has made the adjustment fairly effectively, playing first base, and right here he's got a bead on it, but that guy actually took it right out of his glove.
That's a pretty good catch. Up into the second row. Delgado back to first, holding Franco, who does have 2 steals this year. An 0-1 count on Alomar. Clemens would love a double play so he can have a low pitch inning. A lot of deep counts. Saw Kevin Kennedy a couple of nights ago, who managed Roger Clemens in Boston, and he talked about just what you were saying, because of not a great bullpen and not great defense, errors extending innings. He was forced to use Clemens 140, 145 pitches, that kind of thing. But he was not shocked at all that Clemens is pitching as well as he is this year. On corner, 1-2.
If you don't see a guy on a day-to-day basis and you don't get a feel for the quality of his pitches, you just look at the raw numbers. And everybody looked at Clemens' raw numbers last year and said, oh, he's slipping a little bit. He hadn't slipped much.
10-13 last year, 3.63 ERA, led the league in strikeouts. This year 6-0 right now, leading the league in things like opponents' batting average, base runners per 9 innings.
All of those things that eventually lead to wins. If you keep guys from hitting, you keep base runners off the bases, and sooner or later you're going to get some run support and win some games. Free agent signings: Roger Clemens 6-0, Jimmy Key 7-0.
They're 2-3 in ERA in the league. Key second, Clemens third. The 1-2, got him. Same spot on the inside corner as 2 pitches ago, and he strikes out Alomar for strikeout number 4 for Clemens.
Well, Roger had put the outside corner in Alomar's mind, and when he comes inside, Sandy can't pull the trigger. He has been there very effectively through most of the night.
Now it's Vizquel, who had a solid single to right his first time up against Clemens. That strikeout by Clemens moves him up into a tie for 3rd in the league, behind only David Cone and Randy Johnson. Cone, Johnson, Clemens, Apier. Some pretty familiar names up in that strikeout leaderboard.
Nagy, Alvarez, Henkin. Tuesday night, Henkin and Pettit.
That'll be fun.
Yankee Stadium.
Santiago wanted to throw, but he didn't have the ball.
No, he hit the umpire's hand. Yeah. He came up to throw to first base, and Ted Hendry is in the way. Watch how he comes out of the chute to throw, and the umpire is there, and he hit Hendry on the recoil in the back.
Clemens working on Vizquel, trying to get out of it. Franco at first. Indians lead 1-0. Top of the 4th. If Clemens should somehow win this game, it'll be one he really appreciates it, because he has not been anywhere close to as sharp as he's been most of this year. And again, a full count, deep count after deep count for Roger Clemens.
We haven't seen an awful lot of sliders tonight. He has used both of his fastballs, 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, and he's thrown quite a few of the split finger pitches.
82 pitches already through 3 2/3. Franco gets a head start. Line to short, and Gonzalez is there. And the Indians are done. 83 pitches through 4. All kinds of trouble, but he's only given up 1 run. Blue Jays trying to break through against Hershiser. Neither pitcher has had a 3-up, 3-down inning yet. But it's only 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th as Jacob Brumfield, the center fielder, leads it off against Oral Hershiser. Brumfield had a chance to do something back in the 2nd. Delgado was at second, nobody out, and Brumfield couldn't move him over, tapping back to the mound.
Well, when you're in a game like this with Clemens going against Hershiser, you know there's not going to be an awful lot of runs scored in the ball game, so you really have to take advantage of those opportunities. Blue Jays couldn't capitalize a couple of times when they had the leadoff guy on.
Got your Ruben Sierra update for you.
Yeah.
Down at Syracuse, 0 for 3 so far tonight. I think he was 3 for 12 coming in. He has hit a home run as a member of the Sky Chiefs. And remember, the Blue Jays will play AAA Syracuse on Monday.
Wow. Well, that ball kept tracking inside, and Brumfield couldn't get his hands out of the way.
You know what? The Indians might be arguing that hit the end of the bat, but Brumfield is being awarded first base.
Hargrove is not satisfied. He's hollering at Ted. Did he swing at the ball? If he swung at the ball and got hit, then it's a strike. No, he didn't swing. He was trying to get out of the way.
One more time. Look and listen.
He definitely wasn't swinging. So difficult to decide bat or hand.
And you could hear, whether it was Sandy Allen or I don't know, somebody yelling foul ball too at the same time. But Brumfield's at first. Nobody out. Benito Santiago. A mighty swing and not close. 0-1. Santiago walked his first time up. Still under the 200 mark. Even after that breakout 2-homer game of the Metrodome when the Blue Jays snapped their 89-inning homerless streak. Since then, Santiago has gone right back into it and has dropped below the 200 mark. And a big day yesterday, or 2 days ago, for Charlie O'Brien. A grand slam and 6 RBIs as the Blue Jays beat up on the Tigers 7-2. Career day for O'Brien at the plate. Santiago swings and misses again. 0-2.
Well, Dan, here's another situation now. For the third time in 4 innings, the Blue Jays have had the leadoff batter on against Hershiser, but they've not been able to take advantage of that and move him around.
Well, at this point, they are 0 for 4 with men in scoring position and 0 for 6 with men on base. Got another on base here. There has not even been a 2 or 3 day stretch where they have hit well. Even going back to the spring, they didn't hit in the spring either. Hershiser shakes off 3 pitches. Brumfield not going, and Santiago grounds one down to third. Williams on to Fernandez for 1. Tough turn. Got him. Wow, another double play, and this one was just as tough as the other one.
Well, that's the old-fashioned Tony Fernandez sidearm toss we saw right there. We saw it a lot when he was the shortstop. Matt Williams gets the ball in good shape and throws a strike to Fernandez, and look at that sidearm toss. Just dances over Brumfield. This is one of the aspects of learning a new position that Tony Fernandez has had to deal with, that base runner bearing down on him with his back to the runner. Looked pretty comfortable there, didn't he?
Great job by Fernandez. Second double play by the Indians. And Sean Green takes a strike with 2 outs and nobody on. Inside, a ball and a strike. Even though they went 5-3 on the road trip, as we showed you off the top of the show, they only hit .234. Green grounds it foul. 1-2. As a team, hitting .239.
That's a pre-DH batting average.
Only the 81 Blue Jays had a worse average, .226.
Watch it now.
Of which Buck Martinez was a proud member.
Watch it now.
Let's see what you hit there. Hey, .227. You up the average a point. You're a point above the average. Strike 3 call. Ted Hendry delayed a little bit. And then he rings up Green. And the Blue Jays are done. 0 for 7 with men on base. And trailing Hershiser and the Indians 1-0 through 4. Marquise Grissom leading off the 5th. On Jumbotron between innings, they were running by all the groups in attendance, and there were 3 or 4 from Ohio.
Used to be the other way around.
Yep.
Blue Jay fans going down to Cleveland to catch the Jays. Now, we mentioned Dave Justice and what a start he has gotten off to. Marquise Grissom is the other side of the spectrum, as he is off to a slow start. Talking to Mike Hargrove before the game, he said, you know, when you go bad as a hitter, you have a tendency to listen to everybody. Well, what do you think I ought to do? And you get too many ideas, and then you forget to pick up the ball and swing the bat.
Clemens ahead of Grissom, 1-2. He's struck out 4 so far tonight. Although it has not been easy for him, the Indians have had at least 1 runner on in every inning. Orlando Merced threw out a runner in the first. Might probably prevented further damage against Clemens. They had 2 on in the second. Inside and a full count. And this right now sums up Clemens' night. A full count. He's already thrown 88 pitches in this game. High ball 4. Clemens walks Grissom to lead off the 5th. His second walk of the night. Got an updated baseball tonight. That means Vic. Here's Tony Fernandez. 0 for 2. Fly ball strikeout. Down the left field line. This should find the seats out of play. Held by Delgado. Grissom not going. Grounded down to first. Delgado to second for 1. Back to first. Double play. Good choice by Delgado, and you could see for a split second he's thinking, do I step on the bag? Do I throw to Gonzalez?
That's exactly what he did. He says, my fault. I didn't know what side to throw it. Now watch the hesitation right here. He almost goes toward first and then throws it across the base path. But Alex Gonzalez was able to convert. This ball travels behind the base runner, and they are able to get Fernandez at first.
Now, there have been 3 double plays in this game, 2 by the Indians, 1 by the Blue Jays, and none of them have been anything near routine. Tomey, a look at his strike. First baseman tonight is 1 for 2, a base hit and a board on an error. Pitch and a little ground ball out to second. Garcia lobs to Delgado, and Clemens gets out of it. A walk, a double play, then a ground ball. And midway through this game, both pitchers are starting to settle in a little bit. It is 1-0 Cleveland. Yeah, hit it.
Yeah.
Deep fly ball. What was the other time? Remember?
I think I hit a deep fly ball to center and a deep fly ball to short.
Yeah, sure, Buck.
Nobody hit much that night.
Why'd you get the start? You didn't get a whole lot of starts against right-handers when you were with Toronto, did you? Ground ball to short. Garcia does the second time what he did the first. 1 down in the 5th.
Why did I get to start?
I didn't mean anything by it.
That hurt.
Now, do you remember standing in the on-deck circle? Who was the hitter before? Who was the number 8 guy? Whoever it was. Pops out, strikes out, hits deep down to the wall.
Oh, I didn't even go to the batter's box.
Oh, you knew.
No,
you were done.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right.
I was.
All right.
They had seen enough of me.
Here's Otis Nixon, 1 for 2 tonight. Blue Jays trailing 1-0, bottom of the 5th. Hits are even at 4 apiece. And Nixon a ground ball to short. Vizquel gets him 2 down.
Well, we talked about it on top of the show when Hershiser's got that sinker working. He'll take advantage of this slick fielding Indian defense. And we mentioned that he is a little bit slow getting out of the blocks this year because he had good velocity coming out of the spring, but he forgot how to pitch. He was just thinking, man, I feel good. I'm going to blow this ball right by the hitters. But now you can see he's changing speeds a little bit with that sinker. That one was up a bit.
Even in '88, going back again to his great year, he didn't blow guys away. He had pinpoint control, could put it where he wanted to, when he wanted to.
Yeah, but he had such a good sinker then that when you hit it, it felt like you were hitting a shot put. Clunk, no ground ball. And he had great control. I mean, he could really pitch. Throw a few more big curveballs in.
With the librarian or professor look that he's got, there he is in 1988 in the World Series against Canseco and McGuire and Ricky Henderson and Dave Henderson and all those guys, and just making it look easy.
Yeah, don't fall for that glasses trick. Greg Maddux does it too.
Yep.
Little wire rim glasses, and they walk around the locker room like, oh yeah, just happy to be here.
Greg Maddux apparently doesn't get recognized anywhere because he's not big and he's got the glasses on. He just, I mean, Mark McGuire walks down the street, he gets recognized. 2-1 on Gonzalez. 2-2.
See how he took something off that pitch and had Gonzalez all geared up for that hard sinker ball. Orlo was throwing down in Texas on Wednesday. I was down there, and he was out in the outfield throwing, and he was working on throwing a very slow changeup.
He strikes out Gonzalez to end the inning. Got him in order. Needed only 8 pitches to do it. And the Blue Jays go quietly in the 5th, still trailing 1-0. Low 90s and still pretty good for most guys, but it really gave Percival a problem. There's Matt Williams leading off the 6th against Roger Clemens. Williams with a very frustrating at bat his last time up. Got the count to 2-0, then swung and missed at a pitch that hit the dirt and eventually struck out. He's 1 for 2. The strikeout and the RBI single that has accounted for the only run of the game.
See, Williams is talking to himself constantly at the plate, trying to convince himself to stay back. He's a bit jumpy right now, jumping at Clemens as he makes his delivery. When you do that, that has a tendency to make your hands drag because you get your body incorporated in the swing, as opposed to keeping your body quiet and using your hands and leading with the barrel of your bat. We've talked about this in relation to Joe Carter, how Joe was trying to generate bat speed with his body, and in fact it was slowing his bat down.
Foul back. Get ready, Martinez.
I had it all the way.
You've got the spring in your legs. Never had one come in here, have you?
Never.
No? Here's okay. Tiger Stadium.
We don't want them coming in there.
A little bit closer.
By the time they get up here, they're pretty quiet.
Yeah. 2-2 on the leadoff man in the 6th, Matt Williams.
That's one of the few sliders we have seen. He started out, Williams, with a slider in his at bat, and then Roger threw another slider right there. Williams was able to get a piece of it.
A very high pitch count for Clemens, just 5+ innings. The most he's thrown in a game this year, 133. He's gone the distance on 116 and is already at 100 here through 5 innings. It'll be bullpen time at some point tonight. Inside, and yet another full count.
See, now Clemens can come right back inside again. Normally when you throw a pitch like that, the natural location for the next pitch is away. But if he backs this up inside, he may get in on Williams's hands. A splitter and got him to foul it off.
You know, win, lose, or draw. Wake up tomorrow, read the paper. It might say something like 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. So, pretty good night for Clemens. Doesn't tell the story about how hard he's had to work here.
Well, that's getting back to what we talked about before, because Clemens can be so dominant. He cranks up a normal 7-inning, 6-hit game, and everybody else would be thrilled with it. And Clemens going, well, I wasn't really that sharp tonight.
Ball 4. There's an example of that lack of sharpness. Clemens has walked 3. He's also hit a batter. His high in walks this year is 4 against the Rangers back in the middle of April. In his last 2 starts, he didn't walk anybody and struck out 24.
Now, here's a situation where David Justice can kind of guess with Clemens. After the walk to Williams, he can look inside and take a shot that Clemens is going to try to get ahead of him with an inside fastball.
Driven to left. It's a base hit. David Justice, his first hit of the night, and the Indians in business, 1st and 2nd, nobody out here in the 6th.
Now, Justice was geared up for the fastball. It was away from him, and he takes it the other way. Clemens wanted his fastball down and away. That's where it is, and Justice puts a sweet swing on it and gets a base hit.
Uses the entire field and has set the Indians up for a potential big inning here. That last word, no activity in the Blue Jay bullpen. Crabtree, Huck Flinner looking on. Mel Queen consulting with Cito Gaston.
Talking about the movement of his fastball, how it moves down and away. When you get that movement, you sacrifice about a foot of velocity.
Blue Jays got a big double play last inning. Could use another one here. Ramirez 0 for 2. Very high is Clemens with a fastball.
We have heard Roger talk about pitching late in the ball game, how his arm doesn't necessarily go on him. More often than not, it's his legs. And without his legs, he can't really drive and finish off his pitches. He drove that one all right. That was a pretty good fastball.
He had a game at Kansas City 3 starts ago where he had 8 shutout innings. It allowed only 3 hits and didn't come out for the 9th. And everybody's saying, whoa, what's going on here? The bullpen by committee or the 3-time Cy Young Award winner? But it was Clemens really who said he was spent. And as you mentioned, it was because of his legs. One ball, one strike, 2 on, nobody out. Reaching for it, Ramirez fouls it off. Clemens on an extra day's rest heading into this start. Ramirez has always hit him very well. 3 home runs in 11 career at bats, but 0 for 2 tonight. Ahead 1-2.
Manny Ramirez doesn't have that real buggy whip kind of swing working tonight against Clemens. Remember, this is just his 2nd start since the Blue Jays faced Cleveland. In Cleveland, Ramirez had to leave after he strained a muscle on his left side swinging at a Mike Timlin slider.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Two on, nobody out, and Clemens just try to stay afloat here. It's just a 1-0 game. Although it's been a struggle for him from the outset, there is still no activity in the Blue Jay bullpen. Clemens up around 110 pitches. 5 hits, 3 walks, and a hit batter tonight. Right center field. Merced slides and makes the catch. Williams will tag and come to third.
That's a good play right there. Merced ran into the alley in right center. Take a look at the sliding catch. He looked at Otis Nixon once, recognized Otis wasn't going to get there, makes the catch, and then gets it back to the infield. On the play, Matt Williams tagged at second and moved to third.
And now 1 out, runners on the corners for Julio Franco.
That catch saved 2 runs right there. Williams scores easily, and Justice was all the way at second base. If that ball gets by Merced, goes all the way to the wall, Indians probably pick up 2.
Now Franco 1 for 2, 15-game hitting streak, a .364 average on the season, 3rd in the league. Base hit opens up the game. Double play ends the inning. Breaking ball, strike at the knees, and again Franco will walk away. Ever since Brian O'Nora left the game ill and Ted Hendry took over behind the plate, there have been some unhappy hitters. And he's hearing it a little bit from the first base side of the field.
He said, I was having a great time out there at second base. Just trying to pick up my partner. I got to come in here and listen to all this nonsense. Ted and I broke into the American Association in 1973. I'd been there a couple of years. He came up in 1973.
How long does it take you to get to know an umpire, his style, his strike zone?
Yeah, it doesn't take long, especially in the minor leagues. You see them quite often, and they'll stay for 2 or 3 series, don't move around an awful lot. And then you see them in winter ball as well. They go to winter ball just like the players.
1-2 the count on Franco. 1-2 and a ground ball to short. Could be a double play. Gonzalez, and they turn it. And again, Roger Clemens with a pump of the fist gets out of trouble. First and second, nobody out. A great catch by Merced. A double play started by Gonzalez. And the Indians cannot add to their lead. It is still 1-0 for the Tribe. Merced has been on base both times tonight. Double down the line and left in the first, and a walk in the third. It's Merced, Sprague, and Delgado, 3, 4, and 5 tonight. There's another shot down the left field line, but this one a little more hang time for Justice to get over. 1 down. Vic Rauter's got an update back at the studio.
What's that old adage about don't look behind you? Somebody may be catching up on you. Here it is, bottom 5. And it's 11-8 now. Giants, Chris Widger singles off Joe Roa. Barry Bonds boots it. Henry Rodriguez scores. Montreal's within 2.
Yeah, and to see more of that Expo offense tomorrow night. But they'll have to take on Hideo Nomo. Carlos Perez for Montreal.
Well, the Giants and the Expos got a little thing going now between Dusty Baker and Felipe Alou.
A lot of things going on in baseball right now. The Reds and the Dodgers have a thing going.
Yeah.
Ray Knight and Reggie Smith.
Reggie Smith was accused of stealing signs.
Yes. Gotten ugly early a couple of times already this year. Zed Sprague takes a strike, 1-1.
Well, you know, the Reds aren't too pleased with anybody right now.
The worst record in baseball. They were the ones who released Ruben Sierra. Now at AAA with the Blue Jays. And Ricky Bonas, who went back and signed a deal with Milwaukee.
How about Milwaukee? How about that division? Kansas City's on top. Milwaukee's second, half game back. Those two teams have really turned things around.
Sprague pulls one down to third off the glove of Williams. He'll have no play. Hard hit ball. And an infield single for Ed Sprague. He's 2 for 3.
That ball was up. Breaking ball that stayed up a bit. Sprague got to it and hit a bullet down on Matt Williams. Matt got a glove on it, but it goes off his glove into foul ground. Sprague gets a single. But Williams kept Sprague from going to second. That ball gets by him. It's 2 for sure.
So yet another chance for the Blue Jays to get something going. The last inning was the only inning in which they were retired in order. Delgado had a leadoff double in the second and a ground ball to end the third. He is hitting up around 270 right now. Best mark on the team. Looks at a strike.
Well, Hershiser is really working over Delgado after that first inning double. Excuse me, the first at bat double in the second. Last time up, he worked him inside. That time, he started him with a fastball away. Change speed with a breaking ball.
Got him thinking now.
Well, he is truly pitching tonight. He was concerned that he was just throwing, but tonight he has done a great job of pitching.
Delgado pulls it into right for a base hit, and it bounces over Ramirez and goes to the wall. Sprague is getting the wave. He will score. Delgado into third, and it's a tie game.
Well, there was no reason at all for Manny Ramirez to really come hard on that ball. Sprague wasn't going to go anywhere. A two-strike swing. It's a breaking ball that Carlos just kind of flicks into right field. Ramirez comes very hard, and that ball takes a big bounce and goes right over his head. I don't know if that hit something unusual out there, but it took a big bounce. Maybe hit a seam or something. But it looked like it was going to be a routine base hit to right. Watch Delgado right here think, oh, I got a base hit, and then boom, the ball goes over his head, and he turns it on. Ball goes all the way to the wall, and Carlos Delgado goes all the way to third base on the play.
And it is scored as a triple for Delgado. Driving in the tying run, Mike Hargrove to the mound. New turf here at Skydome, and kind of looked like the Metrodome the way that ball hopped over the head of Ramirez. Now with a runner at third and only one out, the Indians will in all likelihood, you would think, bring the infield in to try and keep the tie.
That was interesting. It looked like Hershiser was dictating strategy during that meeting. Mike Hargrove wanted to go out there and see how he felt and see how he was going to work Brumfield. He hit Jacob last time in the fourth inning with an inside fastball. The infield's going to play it in.
Big opportunity here for Brumfield, a late addition to the lineup because of Joe Carter's back spasms. He can give the Blue Jays the lead here in the sixth inning. The base runner at third is Delgado with average speed. And the 1-0. Fly ball to center. And this will be more than enough. Here comes Grissom. Here comes Delgado. And the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead on a sacrifice fly by Jacob Brumfield.
Now the Blue Jays take advantage of a big break here to take the lead. Brumfield with a good at bat. Really locked in on driving the ball to the outfield to chase Carlos Delgado home. Sprague got it started with a one-out base hit to third, and then the triple bounced over Ramirez's head. That set the table for Jacob Brumfield's sac fly.
And all night long, the Blue Jays had been on the verge of breaking through against Hershiser, but had been unable to do so. Here's Santiago, a walk and a double play grounder in this game as he taps one to short. Vizquel will throw him out. The Blue Jays are done. Ramirez keeps the ball in front of him, retrace the inning, and maybe Hershiser still has the lead. But as it stands, it's Blue Jays 2, Indians 1 through 6. Alomar, Vizquel, and Grissom here in the seventh. Alomar tonight has walked and struck out. Clemens has 4 strikeouts, 3 of them coming in the third. You got Alomar looking in the fourth. Blue Jays try to match their best record of the season at 4 games over 500. But Alomar saw that one well and laces it to left center. Brumfield cuts it off, and it's a leadoff single. Down in the Blue Jay bullpen, it looks like a couple of people have gone down and just started to throw even as we speak. Dan Plesac, Tim Crabtree. Here's Vizquel. Bunt. And it rolls foul. Caught on the fly. Gets back. One down. We go to baseball tonight. Saw something he didn't like.
Well, whenever you come out and ask for the umpire, that's
that Clemens has gone this year. Up at 119 right now with 1 out of the 7th as Plesac and a Crabtree continue to loosen up in the Blue Jay bullpen. Runner at first, 1 out, 1-0 on Grissom. And a pop-up. Green late coming in from left field, and Gonzalez is forced to make a difficult catch.
Well, remember, these two ran together earlier in the season in Milwaukee. And Sean looks at Alex, back at Alex, and look how far Alex has to go out into left field. Sean was like closing the gap. He probably could have made a play there. He got there, but when he saw Gonzalez underneath it, he kind of backed off.
2 down for Tony Fernandez. Fernandez tonight 0 for 3, hit into a 3-6-3 double play his last time up. Roger Clemens working with the lead. Aggressive swing by Fernandez. He fouls it straight back. This is one that if he can chalk up the W, he will be proud of, because, as you say, he didn't go out with his best stuff. He said after the 14 strikeout game, didn't have his best stuff then, but he had a lot better stuff against the Twins than he's had tonight. Sure hasn't had the pinpoint control tonight, but it's getting better.
Well, I think some of the difficulties he's had here tonight, as opposed to what he faced against the Twins, is the caliber of hitters he's dealing with.
A strike away from getting out of the 7th with the lead intact. So many things change when you're 0-2, 1-2, especially against great hitters, and when you're 2-0, 3-1. Guys like Justice and Tomey can really tee off on getting hitter counts. Out of play. Sandy Alomar with a leadoff base hit. Omar Vizquel soft liner to short. Marquise Grissom pop up to short. And now a 1-2 count on Fernandez. Ground ball right side. Carlos Garcia, and the inning is over. Clemens gets out of it again. Leadoff single, nothing more. 7th inning stretch at Skydome. 2-1 Blue Jays.
Kind of shrugs it off like, well, it doesn't really bother me, but you can bet it's getting to him. And when you go to the plate thinking, if I get a hit here, if I get a hit there, maybe I can make an impression on Cito Gaston. But he had a misplayed ball here tonight again in the outfield, and it's got to be tough.
Well, I don't think there's any question it's gotten in his head a little bit. He came out of the spring, and there's a ground ball down to third off the bat of Garcia. 3 grounders tonight. Green came out of the spring having hit better than any other Blue Jay, expecting to play every day, and then platooning and sat down against a right-hander in Detroit, and now Sierra, and I think probably wondering about his future right now, at least in the Blue Jay organization. Two down for Nixon. 1 for 3 tonight. Base hit and a couple of grounders. Blue Jays leading 2-1. And a strike from Hershiser. We've talked a lot about Clemens and all he's battled through. Hershiser had just as many battles in the early innings. And then who knows, that ball doesn't bounce up over Ramirez. Could still be a 1-0 Cleveland lead right now. It'll show up as a triple, but it wasn't really your textbook triple.
If I could hit something out there and took a big hop over Ramirez's head. Man, he came in very aggressively, and that ball just took one hop right over his head all the way to the wall.
2-1 the count on Nixon. Base hit center field. Otis Nixon is 2 for 4. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Vic.
And back to Olympic Stadium, 11-9, and it's Rondell White. Singles off Joe Roa to score Mark Bertolanek. It's 11-10. Roa's gone. Rich Rodriguez is in. Montreal keeps coming.
Now that's not a National League game. It's 11-10.
How often do you bump into guys who cover National League baseball and they say American League like it's a couple of dirty words?
Oh yeah, really? Yeah.
American League. What's the matter? Couldn't get a National League job. Alex Gonzalez, the batter. Nixon took a couple of steps towards second.
Had a pitch out going, and he recognized it.
Big numbers for Nixon, even ahead of last year's pace. Just one back of the co-leaders, Chuck Knobloch and Brian Hunter. Nixon's been caught 4 times. When he's on, he continues to run well. 1-1.
Pretty high numbers when you consider that Otis came into this game batting .243. And he doesn't take an awful lot of walks. Starting to swing the bat a little bit. We saw it in Minnesota the other day.
Two outs, pretty good time for him to risk it and try to get into scoring position for Gonzalez. 2-1 the count.
Both of these teams have had some concerns about their bullpen. Right-hander is Eric Plunk. The left-hander is Alvin Mormon, who has just been picked up from the Houston Astros.
Jose Mesa lost his closer's job. Mike Jackson's been doing that and doing it very well, but Mesa's had all kinds of trouble, has been hit very hard. Assenmacher has not been good. Hershiser very concerned with Nixon. In left center field. Alex Gonzalez has hit it out. It carried right over the wall for a 2-run homer, his third, and the Blue Jays lead 4-1.
First home run for Gonzalez since April 22nd out in California. That ball just kind of sat there, didn't sink, and he drove it over the wall in left center. Roger Clemens has battled all night long, and now he's got to feel like that was a grand slam. #12th home run surrendered by Orel Hershiser this season.
The most in the major leagues. And it's 4-1 Toronto. Gonzalez home run number 3, RBIs number 8 and 9. And here's Orlando Merced, 1 for 2. It seemed like for the longest time, both literally and figuratively, that the Blue Jays trailed 1-0. A slow-moving game. A delay when home plate umpire Brian O'Nora took ill. Down to a 3-umpire crew right now. Hershiser just kept getting out of it, but 2 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. And here in the 7th, Hershiser had 2 outs, nobody on before the Nixon grounders snuck up the middle for a base hit. And then Gonzalez drove a line shot to left center field. Blue Jays will need 6 outs from the bullpen. Ground ball. Charged to second by Fernandez. Flipped to get him. Inning over, but Alex Gonzalez gives Roger Clemens a big boost toward what he hopes is win number 7. More handshakes. Bullpen door is open. Smile by Gonzalez, and Plesac on his way in. He stay. It'll be Tomey, Matt Williams, and David Justice. 3, 4, and 5, and he challenged him on strike 1. Two left-handed hitters for Plesac this inning. A couple of times he's come in just to face one left-handed hitter and walked him. 1-2. Good breaking ball.
Now that's the breaking ball that is so effective for Dan when he has got command of it. He started that ball right at Tomi's hip, and then that ball broke over and caught the outside corner.
Fastball, and he got it by him. Plesac strikes out Tomi.
Boy, that was a good fastball. Straight fastball. He blows it right by a good fastball hitter.
Now for Plesac, it'll be Matt Williams, and a little National League experience between these two in the last few years. Williams 0 for 4 career, 1 strikeout against Plesac. Fly ball driven deep right center field. Brumfield is going back. He's turning, and it's gone. Matt Williams drives one to right center field, and it's 4-2.
Boy, that Gonzalez home run is huge right now as Williams goes deep. His 11th of the season. First hit off of Plesac in his career. This is a fastball. You can see it's about middle of the plate. Plesac knew that wasn't going to be good. Brumfield runs out of space in center.
Number 11 for Matt Williams. Probably the fastest home run trot I've ever seen. He just gets around the bases and gets back in the dugout. And here's David Justice against Plesac. Another lefty-lefty matchup here. Couple of breaking balls, and it's 1-1. Justice with a high fly ball to right. Merced is there, and we'll retire him. Remember, Justice hit a home run off Plesac back at Jacobs Field on the road trip. And now Cito Gaston has already come out and made a move to the bullpen. He was hopeful that Plesac could get them in order, but he really wanted him to face the two lefties. He got the lefties, but Matt Williams homered, and that's going to bring Tim Crabtree into this game to face Manny Ramirez.
Well, both of these managers are going to...
In the 8th, Crabtree, the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. And a first pitch swinging ground ball to first. Delgado gets Ramirez. Indians are gone. They get one on the Williams homer, but Crabtree does the job. And it is 4-2 Blue Jays. As Buck said, that Gonzalez home run, so his offense needs but 2 to tie, heading to the 9th. Blue Jays with 2 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. The big hit of the game is the Alex Gonzalez home run. It'll be Sprague, Delgado, and Brumfield here in the 8th inning. It was this trio that got the Blue Jays 2 runs in the 6th. Sprague with a base hit, Delgado with an artificial turf triple that one-hopped Manny Ramirez in right, and then Brumfield a sacrifice fly. Inside to Sprague. Couple of hits for Sprague, and his average is as high as it's been in a while at 268. He creams one to left field. Second deck home run at Sprague. 5-2 Blue Jays.
The first home run Ed Sprague has hit all year against a right-handed pitcher. His previous home runs, all 5 of them, had been against left-handers. He gets a fastball, and he didn't miss it. Second deck home run. A little more insurance for the Blue Jays.
Well, it took them 72 innings at home to hit a single home run. Remember that long 89-inning streak overall? Most of that was at home before they went on the last road trip. Took him only one more inning to hit another one. Gonzalez snapped the streak in the 7th, and Sprague hits another one here in the 8th. Delgado tries to golf one and almost got Alfredo Griffin for his trouble. Finally, in the late innings, the Blue Jays starting to get some hits at key times. A 2-out home run by Gonzalez. Even a sacrifice fly by Brumfield is a big hit. They have left so many runners at third as Delgado goes up the ladder, and he's gone one down.
Center fielder number 5, Jacob Brumfield.
It may still be a committee buck, but Mike Timlin starting to get some more regular looks down in the 9th inning.
Well, very quietly, Cedar Gaston has had Timlin into these save situations, and he's not yet put a title on him, and maybe he's just kind of sneaking him out there, still under that committee guys.
Brumfield will look at a strike. He officially is just 0 for 1 tonight. Has also been hit by a pitch and has the sac fly we told you about. Base hit right field.
Well, that was a good at bat right there. Jacob got a high breaking ball, and he steps, but watch how his hands stay back. Watch the step, the hands stay back, the hesitation, and he lines it into right field.
Taking advantage of a late addition into the lineup. This telecast is presented by authority of the Toronto Blue Jays Baseball Club. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted without the consent of the Blue Jays. Brumfield's on the run, and Santiago fouls it off.
Jacob's done a little bit of everything tonight.
Well, when you only play a couple times a week, you want to get your name in the box score.
Now he got the sac fly that put the club ahead in the 6th inning.
Santiago walked, hit into a double play, then grounded out to short. His average down to 192. There goes Brumfield again, and no throw. Jacob Brumfield with his first stolen base of the season.
Boy, he got a good jump too. Sandy Alomar, nasty pitch to handle, a fastball down and away, comes up, sizes up the situation, decides not to throw. He goes into his glove, and once he looks up, he said, nope, don't have a shot.
A 1-2 on Santiago. Blue Jays have upped their lead to 5-2. Brumfield's at second with 1 out. No guarantee he's going to stay there. Last year, before the groin and the hamstring problems got him, he tried to steal home. Play on at second, and he's back in. And actually, replay showed he did steal home, but he was called out on the play. Buck mentioned he scored from second on a ground ball a few days ago. He is a very aggressive base runner when he's healthy.
You know, he may have made a strong bid to win an everyday role, but he had that finger injury in spring training, and he really had a tough time with the bat. He injured his finger lifting weights in January, and it lingered and lingered. And he was never really 100% in spring training. And he had an awful time at the plate.
Wasn't a high draft pick and had to battle for every job he's gotten, and has always been a 4th outfielder guy trying to break into the top 3. He can play left, center, or right. Santiago strikes out. 2 down.
Well, Santiago is going through another tough night here. That looked like a changeup. Watch how he is out in front of that pitch, and Funk has a couple of strikeouts, but he has also given up a long home run to Ed Sprague.
And the batter is Green, who has had a tough night, 0 for 3 and an error. And they're going to put him on and go after Carlos Garcia, who has had a tough season at the plate. At 5-2 with an open base, they'll go after a guy who has hit 3 weak ground balls and who on the season is down around 180. Green takes the intentional walk. 35,195 on hand tonight. The second largest crowd of the season behind only opening day. Some Indians fans, some Clemens fans.
Pretty good pitching matchup. That's what brought most of these fans to this ballpark.
181 average for Garcia. 2 on, 2 out. And Plunk looked like he stepped funny on the mound and missed down and away for ball 1. Brumfield at second, Green at first, and Garcia drives a high fly ball deep left center field, but caught at the edge of the track by Grissom. Garcia's 0 for 4. Blue Jays leave a couple. They do add to their lead on Ed Sprague's 6th home run of the season. They're 3 runs up and 3 outs away.
This guy was tough and maybe saved that bad hop triple that went over the head of Ramirez. It'd be a different story here in the ninth.
Franco looks at a strike. If the Blue Jays can hang on, Roger Clemens moves to 7-0, matching the second best start in Blue Jay history with Tom Filer behind Dennis Lamp. Lamp 11-0 in 85. Also, he would match Jimmy Key for the most wins in the American League. And in the major leagues as well. Jimmy Key and Roger Clemens tied for the major league lead in wins in 1997. Whoever would have thought that about 3 years ago, when both appeared to have had their best days behind them. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Timlin with 4 saves on the season in 6 tries. The other near milestone for Clemens would be this win. If it holds up, would be number 199 in his career. His ERA's down to 196. And again, if it holds up, Roger Clemens will go for his 200th win at Yankee Stadium in a game that we will have for you on Wednesday. Fouled off. 1-2 the count on Franco. The way it's written and spoken down in Boston is Clemens took the money and ran. That's the way it's been written a lot.
Yeah, they felt betrayed at that point, but I think when they see him in the ballpark again, it's a lot of great games for those fans.
2-2 to Franco is high. Timlin doesn't want to walk the leadoff guy. (5-2) Blue Jays, 9th inning. Franco to be followed by Alomar and Vizquel. There are bats on the bench, but this lineup is so good, Mike Hargrove rarely gets to them. Guys like Kevin Seitzer, Kevin Mitchell. Ooh, he just got a piece. Again, the 3-2 to Franco. On the appeal, he did not go, says Jim McKean, and Franco is aboard.
Well, they try to go down and away with the slider. He didn't swing at it, but I really question why you would throw that pitch in this situation. Top of the ninth, you got a 3-run lead, walk the leadoff batter.
Hasn't that, in your mind, been Timlin's biggest problem this year, pitch selection?
I think so. Stuff is still there, but Franco had fouled off a couple of good fastballs, but I don't think there's any reason to give in to him with that slider right there.
Here's Alomar, 336 on the season, 1 for 2 tonight. Alomar having a big year, as we mentioned, and in the late innings of ball games, he has been even better. 18 for 39 on the season, 462 from the 7th inning on, including a base hit tonight. And he'll look at a strike, 1-1. Bullpen getting busy for the Blue Jays. Leadoff man on for the Indians. 1-1 the count on Alomar. High pitch and he fouled it straight back, 1-2. Little double-barrel Canadian activity for you, Buck.
Paul Quantrill, he's the right-hander. The left-hander is Paul Spolcherik.
The 1-2. Reaches for it. He's popped it up. Delgado right at the bag. 1 down. Let's go to Vic Crowder at baseball tonight.
Oh, my.
Vizquel tonight is 1 for 3. Top of the order is behind him. Strike 1. Had Alomar reached, we might have seen one of the big fellas bring a bat out of the dugout. A Mitchell, a Seitzer. Guys who could have tied it. A Brian Giles, perhaps.
Hargrove hasn't had much luck with pinch hitters. They're just 1 for 13 this year as a team.
Ground ball to second. Garcia, the flip to Gonzalez for 1, and that is it. That was not very smooth out around the bag.
Carlos couldn't find the ball in his glove in his rush to get the ball off to Alex Gonzalez. He kind of got his glove and hand all hung up. Watch, he's going to backhand it, and he had a tough time getting the ball. He finally kind of shot puts it to Gonzalez, who did a good job of maintaining contact. Watch his foot. He kind of held out and really used his toe to maintain contact with the base to get the force out. The timing was really off. He was already coming across the bag and had to stop and extend to get that lead runner.
So 2 outs. Vizquel replaces Franco at first, and now here is a pinch hitter for the Indians. Brian Giles is going to come up and hit for the struggling Marquise Grissom, who's just 6 for 40 since coming off the DL. But even a Giles homer doesn't tie it. They need Giles to get aboard against Timlin to bring up Tony Fernandez.
Giles has the only pinch hit for the Indians this year. As I mentioned, they are 1 for 13 as a team.
I wonder how often Marquise Grissom has been taken out of a game for a pinch hitter. Career Brian Giles is a .350 pinch hitter as he looks at strike 1 from Timlin. Timlin does not want to let it get beyond this. On deck, Tony Fernandez. If Giles is aboard, Fernandez is the tying run. High, a ball and a strike. There are the numbers we mentioned on this year's pinch hitting for Giles. Woody Williams, Albie Lopez tomorrow. Blue Jays hoping to move 4 games over at 21-17. It's kind of funny. Benito Santiago appealed down to third, but there are only 3 umpires. There was nobody down there. It's John Hirschbeck who's over at second on this play. Brian O'Nora leaving the game early because he was ill. Delgado playing behind of Vizquel. 2 outs, 2-1 on Giles. See, Santiago had his glove really low, wanted it low, and someone missed badly high, and it's 3-1.
Now a walk right here. That will bring the tying run to the plate.
Drive to center. Brumfield. Game over. Blue Jays win it 5-2. Mike Timlin, his 5th save in 7 tries. Roger Clemens, his 7th win of the season, the 199th win of his career.